In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw the grid that will be the base for the floor plan of your house that you've been working on those diagrams for. So this is the grid that we'll create. And as you can see, it is exactly like the one that you have been working with in Miro. We're going to create a grid that's 13 boxes wide and 13 boxes high. Each of these is 44 inches wide. So our total square dimension will be 47 feet, 8 inches. So I'll go to AutoCAD and we can continue work towards this grid. Okay, I'm in AutoCAD now and go ahead and begin constructing the grid. A couple things that you may want to check before you get started. One thing is I'm going to type in units and make sure this is architectural and it's been set to 1/32. I'm going to close that. Another thing that you may want to do, right now we have a grid in the background that's by default in AutoCAD's model space. Since we're going to be constructing a new grid, you may want to turn that grid off. It might just make it a little easier to see. All right, my current layer is X grid. So you want to set that in your case as well. We want it to be a dark color because we want the other lines to have more emphasis. So the color I selected for my X grid is color 8. And now I'll go ahead and begin constructing the lines of the grid. So we'll start with the square, L for line. I'm going to make my first point 0, 0, enter. I'm going to lead my cursor over to the right, and I'm going to input 47 feet 8. Okay, now remember, we don't need to put the double tick mark after the 8 in AutoCAD. You can if you want, but it's not necessary. AutoCAD will assume that number is in inches, but we do need to include a single tick mark to indicate the feet. So I've input 47, single tick mark 8, and I'm going to press enter. And I'll enter again so that I am back in the command line. Now, as you can see, the line has disappeared off to the right of the screen. What I need to do is zoom out. So the best way to do this, not knowing how far zoomed in we are, is to type in Z for zoom and E for extents. Okay, now it fills the whole view, the whole screen, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. And I'm going to pan down so that my line is at the bottom because I'll be constructing the square above that line. Okay. We can go back to the line tool and I'll pick a line. Again, 47 feet 8, enter. Looks like I need to zoom out a little bit more. And I'll lead it to the left now, 47 feet 8. And because my object snaps are on, I can just come down to the end of this line at the bottom. And I notice that the green square appears, which indicates an endpoint. So I'll just click there. I'm still in the line command to exit. Just press enter one more time. All right, now I'll get that square in the view. All right, now to construct the grid, what we need to do is use the array tool. So I'm going to click on array and I'll use the little arrow here to make sure it's rectangular array. I'll come down here and I'll pick one of these vertical lines. The one on the left would probably be better because then you can use positive numbers. If I had chosen the one on the right, I would be using negative numbers for my spacing. Press enter. All right, now the default is that we have 4 columns and 3 rows. But to make the grid look like the image that I showed you at the beginning of the video, we need to make some adjustments here. One thing, the number of rows should be 1. I'm going to zoom out so you can see there's 3 rows up here, which I don't need. Now they've disappeared. It was set to 3, so that's what was visible on the screen. Change it to 1. And we have 4 columns, but they're very closely spaced. So I need to make some adjustments there. First of all, let's change the spacing to 44. And again, I can either just put enter, or I can also add the inches symbol. All right, so now I have 4 columns, including the one I started with, and I have 3 additional ones. I don't know how many I'm going to need. I could calculate this, but it'd be easier to just experiment so I get the right number. There's 9, a little more than that. Let's try 12. One more, 13. Okay, and press enter, and it will take you out of that array command. And I'll repeat the same process for the horizontal lines. So let's do array, pick a line, press enter, rectangular. And again, I just need to go through this process of making corrections. In case of the columns, I only need 1. You can see it's generating 4 towards the right, 1 column. For the rows, I'll fix that shortly. Let's get the spacing correct. And I know from having done the vertical lines that I've got 13. And that's all you need to do to construct the grid.